3D printing's gone crazy recently. People have been 3D printing body kits to furniture to whatever these things are. I'm gonna do something that nobody's ever done before. I'm going to be the first to 3D print an entire plane. I'm not talking about a little RC plane. I'm talking about an actual real-life airplane that you could sit in and fly. Without a license, without registering it, this is the first Part 103 3D printed plane to ever exist. Let me show you how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you heard that correctly. In October of 1982, the FAA passed a law in the US allowing anyone to fly a plane with no prior training, no pilot's license, no registration, and no medical certificate, as long as the plane met certain qualifications. Now, you may have seen people on social media flying questionable aircrafts that's straight from the Home Depot hardware department, but in fact, this is a well-established category in aviation. As long as the plane weighs 254 pounds or less, has 5 gallons or less of fuel on board, a top speed of 63 miles per hour, and a stall speed of 28 miles per hour, you can shut your laptop and go out and fly one right now. But there's one problem with all these planes.
It's that they're all boring and ugly. So over the past 5 months, I've been designing my own plane, which I'll show you in a minute. But here are 3 challenges that I have to face when building my own plane in a foreign country with no sponsors. Okay, well, the first is the weight. You can't just scale up a 3D model plane that you think that looks good, hollow it out, chop it up in pieces, and then print it because, well, this is 6 kilograms of print right here. And well, I need about 600 more if I wanted to print out a plane. So that's gonna be overweight and it's gonna cost a lot of money. And also it'll take 10 years to print out on a printer. So that's kind of out of the picture. So I gotta come up with a better solution than just printing the whole thing out with this. So let's move on to the second challenge. The second challenge is filament. Now there's a bunch of different filaments. You got PLA, ASA, you have clear, PETG, but it is very fragile. And you can't just glue things together because, well, you're gonna wake up in the matrix really quick in the air if that happens. One little snap and it's gone. So I have to solve that problem too. Moving on to the third problem. And the third is money. Now, planes are expensive to build, which I don't have a lot of money. Now I have some credit cards that I'm about to max out for this build. And that's why I'm building it here because I don't have a team. In fact, I need to build this with basic tools because expensive ones cost a lot of money. And I only have one 3D printer. So I have to figure out a way to print it all within about a printer or so with an area that I could fly a plane with basic hand tools, cheaper and more unique than anything. Now I reached out to all these companies and they left me on red just like my friends after I told them what exactly I'm trying to build.
And that's for good reason because I forgot to mention 3 main goals that I have for this project.
Yeah, goal number 1 is safety because I've done a lot of stupid things in my life, gone 180 on a motorcycle, I've done stupid things in cars. But with those, you have brakes, and with planes, you have gravity. Instead of using manual setups, I'm going to use fly-by-wire system that I'm going to develop for this. I'm gonna take very expensive drone flight controllers similar to that, and I'm going to make them redundant. Now, I'm not taking this one out of the package because it is quite expensive, but I'm gonna have multiple redundancies throughout the entire plane, making this a modern plane because with fly-by-wire, you have a pretty secure system and electronics have gotten cheap and very lightweight and reliable. So we're gonna go fly-by-wire with this. Number 2 is on traditional planes, you have these open propellers where they're very efficient, but they're also dangerous. And with drones, I've had my fair share of drone strikes. I'm going to make an electric EDF motor that fits inside the fuselage, but it's not that efficient. So I have to think of a very modern and creative method to make it lightweight, but also produce enough thrust to take off a Part 103 airplane. Goal 3, this is when I lose a lot of people. This plane has to be able to land and take off from water. Yep.
What?
Now I can't tell you exactly the reason why just yet, but it just needs to be able to land and take off from the water. Before I get to the design of this, there is one reason why I'm doing this, and this is to create an experience that none of us was able to live, but we all wanted to. And this goes back to when my dad took me to air shows as a child, and I saw this. The
F-117 Nighthawk. Built in the 80s, not only did this look like an alien spacecraft, but still, to this day, looks futuristic. And this is an experience that, even with Bugatti money, you can't buy. Which is why I set out to design my own version of the F-117. Now, if this is sounding impossible already, just know that in 1962, there was a guy named John Dyke. He was a mechanic that built his own airplane called the Dyke Delta. It was a Delta-style aircraft built in his garage that could fly up to 3 people, and it's flown across the country, and actually ended up selling these plans to dozens of people that built their own Dyke Delta. This was 60 years ago, before CAD and all these other programs. So if he could do it back then, why can't I do it now, 60 years later? I don't understand. And so with that all being said, that's why I spent the past 5 months in my free time designing this, what I call Ghost. No, it wasn't designed by AI. In fact, this may very well be the last human-designed modern aircraft. What looks to just be renders of an aircraft is actually thousands of meticulously crafted joints that could perfectly be printed on a 3D printer. With custom carbon fiber paneling, the entire frame will be 3D printed.
Now I know what you're thinking, bro really just AI prompted a fighter jet to make us believe that he's going to build a plane that looks like a jet. But I'm gonna do you one better, because I actually started building this and started from the ground up with this joystick right here. As you can see, this is the first model joystick that I started building for this plane. But I didn't stop there, because I took it up a notch and I built a second version, which I printed out in this color, which was probably a bad idea with its shape. But this is the second version that I printed out of this controller. And this is the third final edition, made of full carbon fiber. This is an OLED screen with buttons. It's got the electronics all in the back. This is suede backings that pops out. You can interchange the grips. But I didn't want this to fly like a traditional plane. I wanted this to fly like an F1 car. So this is why I started designing pedal systems for this, where it's got rotary encoders in here. And as you can see, I did all custom screws in the back. It's got grip tape on the front. It's super strong, like you won't be able to break these with your foot. And yeah, I can print the pedals out and I can print the joystick out, but to give you that full F1 feeling, you need an F1 style seat. And that's what I did here.
I started by scanning my F1 seating position from my iPhone in ultra high quality. Then designing a seat to mold around my extremely athletic 37-year-old body. Printing an ASA carbon fiber, then layering it in carbon fiber to get this
fully printed carbon fiber seat. Now I'm gonna show you how I built this seat along with the joystick and the pedals here in my next video. So follow and subscribe to see my whole series about this plane. There's gonna be a lot of surprises coming soon.
And this is where the journey begins. Over the next 6 months in my free time, I'm going to take you through one of the most insane builds ever attempted on YouTube. This is to show companies that talent often doesn't have a polished resume or need millions of dollars to create something new and exciting. This is to show what's possible when you have no other choice but to think outside the box, to go after a life and dream you've always desired. And for those wondering, yes, you will be able to own one.